Hello, welcome to this Technic-Force tutorial. In this video, we're going to take a general overview look at CloudFunnels. CloudFunnels has come a long way since its initial launch, so we figured it was time to take another look at it to give new users an easier entry point and give veteran users a comprehensive review. So here from the CloudFunnels dashboard, you can create a funnel, create a product, create a list, send a mailer, see sales, or see users. You can also view your sales, your website visits and converted visitors, your mail sending report, 30-day membership report, latest funnels, latest sales, latest email sequences. And at the very bottom, you can watch tutorials, and that will open the CloudFunnels membership site. And from here, you can click on the Tutorials tab, and we have dozens of tutorials laid out here covering just about every aspect of CloudFunnels. If you find there's something missing, just let us know, and we'll try to add it to the catalog. If you're looking for help in a specific area, you can just click the filter drop-down here, and for example, sales. This will filter all those dozens of tutorials down to just the most relevant ones to the query that you have filtered to. So going back into CloudFunnels here, in the sidebar, we've got a variety of page menus. So here we have the funnels and sites, and this is where you can organize all of your various funnels and create new ones. We also have a members page, and this will show you all of your membership areas as well as give you access to all of the various members. We also have a media tab, and this is where you can upload various media, whether it's images, videos, documents, or audio, and this puts your most used assets into a library that can then be recalled quickly later on without having to re-upload every time and duplicate files on the same site. Then there's the analysis tab. And from here, you can analyze your various funnels by either full funnel analysis or individual page analysis. Then you have your list of products. And here you can input your main products and all of your OTOs and upsells and downsells. And then the sales page shows all the various sales that you've made and whether those items have been shipped or not. At a glance, you can also see payment ID, whether or not they are COD, cash on delivery, or if payment went through one of your setup payment methods. Payment methods are set up here through the payment methods page. And with just a couple of clicks, you can quickly and easily set up PayPal, Stripe, and all the leading payment providers. By clicking on the image, CloudFunnels makes it easy just to input your client ID in secret or whatever credentials are required for that specific payment setting. Autoresponders. CloudFunnels also makes it easy to integrate your autoresponders similarly to the payment methods. Just click on the autoresponder and CloudFunnels will prompt you for the credentials required to set up that autoresponder. For other integrations, we have the Integrations tab. And from here you can set up Messenger chat boxes, Skype, Google and Facebook pixels, or even add your own custom integrations. Just input your script and set the position. There's also a variety of plugins available for CloudFunnels, and this lets you customize the functionality for your specific needs. If you already have a plugin that you've designed yourself or purchased elsewhere, you can just click here to upload the plugin as a zip file from your own system, or you can visit the CloudFunnels plugin marketplace to browse and purchase a plugin there. If you're making your own plugins, you can also put your own plugins on the marketplace for sale. Similar to WordPress plugins, the CloudFunnels plugins need to be activated. And depending on the plugin, it may have a sidebar menu that gets displayed, and those will be shown here. CloudFunnels also has a very easy Zapier integration. So you can easily integrate CloudFunnels with just about any app that will allow it. Then there's your lists tab here, and building your lists is so important. Here you can create as many lists as you want, and by editing the list, you can keep track of all of your subscribers. CloudFunnels also has a compose mail function with a full-featured email text editor here, which offers full formatting features to make beautiful emails. And then you can link this to all of your various lists and power it by as many SMTPs as you want. And this can be used for sending out bulk emails, announcing special events or sales, etc. For your regular follow-up sequences, we have a Sequences tab here. And here you can create a chain of emails that are sent out at specific times, and then attach those to various lists. And this is a convenient way of staying in constant contact with your various subscribers through an automated emailing system. There's also a mailing history tab here, so you can keep track of all the various emails that have been sent to your subscribers. And to power the mailing of all of these emails, there's an SMTPs tab here that you can set up your own private SMTPs. Now, CloudFunnels does include a default mailer, but it may be somewhat limited compared to setting up your own SMTP, which will probably be faster and allow you to send more emails in a batch with a higher acceptance rate. So it's generally recommended that you do set up your own SMTPs and several of them. There's also a Users tab, and this is very convenient for constructing teams to work within CloudFunnels. Here, you can assign various team members different permissions so that your teams or virtual assistants can manage various aspects of CloudFunnels for you. And this becomes much more important as you start to scale your audience. There's also GDPR settings, which is very important to set up if you're planning on marketing to the European Union. And you can customize your own settings or just use the default texts. And you can also refer to the records of cookie consents and data requests. There is also a Settings tab here, and under the General Settings, you'll see your current version, your installation URL, and various other general settings. There's also a Sales Settings tab that allows you to set an automatic notification for sales so that you'll receive an email when sales are made, and then you can put in your admin email for notification. And some other sales setting features like the default SMTP and setting up your cash on delivery confirmation. Under membership settings, you can change the expression required for passwords and opt to cancel membership on purchase cancellation as well. And 404 page setup was a feature that we had a lot of requests for, to set up customized 404 pages for when a specific page is not found. So here you can add your own logo and message. And then the setup membership error texts. So in membership areas where errors display, you can customize the various error messages here. Finally, at the bottom, we have a Help tab, and here we have prompts which are very useful for reference for a variety of short codes used throughout CloudFunnels. And because these are specific short codes, this is a handy page to refer to when you're building out your emails and configuring your page templates and products and validation errors and configuring your forgot password pages. So that's the introduction. Let's jump into funnels and sites. And in this demo, we are going to create two new funnels here. We're going to create a sales funnel and a membership funnel, and then we're going to connect the two. So let's get started by creating a new sales funnel here. And let's call this funnel Freedom. And we will select a funnel type here is sales. And here we can choose our funnel URL. Now the base URL is dependent upon our installation of CloudFunnels. Wherever we've installed CloudFunnels, that's where the base URL is, and this cannot be changed. However, the funnel path can be modified. So if we were to leave this blank, this would install CloudFunnels within the root URL. Normally, if you were to input this, you would be brought to the CloudFunnels admin page. If you were to install a funnel here instead, it would bring you to the first page of the funnel. So if you were to do that and you wanted to access the admin page, then you would use cfadmin. And this is familiar to anyone who's been using WordPress, because normally you would write wp admin, and that would bring you into your admin panel. Well, for CloudFunnels, we use cfadmin, and then that would override the sales page and bring you into the admin panel. In this case, we are not going to use the root directory. We are going to use Freedom, and we do already have a funnel set up called Freedom. So we could overwrite that funnel if it already exists, but we don't want to do that. So we're just going to modify the path to call it Freedom1, and then we'll go ahead and create. So this opens up the basic funnel structure for CloudFunnels. Automatically, we're given blank pages here for opt-in, sales page, order form, confirmation, and cancellation page. And right now, all of these pages are blank. There's nothing on them. There's no content yet. Now for this sales funnel, we don't really need an opt-in page, but we have a choice. We can just leave this page blank, and if we start by building a sales page, then the funnel will just automatically load the first available page. So we don't have to delete this opt-in page if we don't want to. If we choose to, we can right-click on opt-in and delete this page. I'm going to leave it for now. So the funnel that we're going to configure is going to start on the sales page, and then go to the order form, and then go to the confirmation page, or the cancellation page if there's a problem with the payment, or the user cancels before completing the order. In this demo, we're actually going to add a couple of extra pages as well. After the order form, we're going to include an upsell and an optional checkout. So let's add these pages now. We'll call this one OTO1, and we'll add that. And we'll add another new page, and we'll call it checkout. And add that. And then to move these into position, all we do is we just grab the page to be moved and move it to the top of the page that we want to insert it in front of. Oh, but we're not able to do that yet because we haven't created any content. So we'll reorder these shortly, but first let's set up our content. So like I said, we're going to skip opt-in, and I think just to make things cleaner, maybe I will right-click and delete this opt-in page. That just tidies up our workspace a little bit. Okay, so from the sales page, we will go ahead and choose a template or create one from scratch. Let's choose a template to make things move a bit faster. And this opens up a page of templates, and these are all the sales templates here. And CloudFunnels knows that it's only going to offer sales templates because that page is already assigned a sales category. We could override that category by typing something like this, like order form, and we'd see all the order form templates here as well, but they won't work as a sales page. So it's best just to stick with the offered templates and use one of these. Alternatively, if you already have a template that you've either designed yourself or purchased elsewhere, you can click here to upload the zip file to import that template from your system. As another option, if there's a funnel that already exists on the internet, you can use the clone URL button here to enter the URL of the funnel you want to clone. And then you can also copy the HTML content by using Chrome DevTools. And we have a tutorial on this that discusses it in greater detail. But you can copy the HTML content using Chrome DevTools to copy that page in full. And then clone that URL and then customize it for your own uses. In this case, we're just going to use one of the templates. And now our sales page has some content. If we want to preview our funnel so far, we can just click on this icon here, and this will open the page in a new tab. And we can see here is our website. It's already online. Nothing is connected, and it obviously needs a lot of customization to personalize it for our own offer, but there it is. We can also use this icon to copy the funnel URL, or if sales page is selected, we can use this icon to access the sales page settings. And up at the top here, we have the specific URL for this page. So here we can copy the URL for this page, and here we can preview the URL for this page. Below, we have all the various page settings, and we can also edit the SEO data. Before we get into the descriptions of all this, let's go back and set up a couple of other page contents first. So let's go to order form, choose a template, And again, we could override this, but right now it knows that it's a category order form. So these are only the order form templates offered. We could import a template or clone a URL, but we're just going to use the existing templates. And then the same thing for a confirmation page. We'll choose a template and select a template. And then for the cancellation page, we will choose a template and select a template. And now for the pages that we added, the OTO1 and the checkout. We added these pages, so if I select OTO and then go to choose a template, you'll notice that the category is set as all. CloudFunnels doesn't know what this OTO page is, because even though we called it OTO1, we didn't describe its category. So because of that, we have all possible templates shown here on our templates field. And that's a lot of templates to scroll through. So let's go back. And before we go any further, let's go into OTO page settings here. And under the page settings tab, we can go to the page category dropdown, and we can specify that this is an OTO category. And then scroll to the bottom and save our settings. And we'll get into the rest of this momentarily, but for now, we just need to set that category. So now we'll go back and choose a template. And now you can see that CloudFunnels knows that this is an OTO category, and so it's narrowed down the various possibilities for that. So we'll go ahead and choose an OTO template. And we're going to see the same thing with checkout. If we try to choose a template for checkout, it's going to show all categories because we haven't assigned a category for checkout yet. So let's go back, and for checkout, we'll go to page settings, and we'll choose a page category, and we have to choose checkout. And then save those settings, go back, and now for checkout, we'll be able to change the template. And these are the checkout pages. So if this were an OTO, really we could override that and maybe use a sales page instead of an OTO template. But for checkout page, we can't do that. Checkout page is a very specific page in CloudFunnels, and you can only use a checkout page on the checkout category. So let's go ahead and select that. Okay, so now our OTO and our checkout is done. So now that we have content on these pages, we'll be able to move these into the proper order on our page. And the OTO and the checkout both have to be placed between order form and confirmation page. So we will grab OTO and move it on top of confirmation page and drop. And there was a quick gears icon as that page was loading. If that loading icon is delayed at all, wait until it ceases before you move the next page. If you try to move pages while CloudFunnels is still loading, there's a possibility that you could break the page, and in that case, you would have to delete the page and reload it over again. So we'll take this one now, drag it on top of confirmation page and drop, and that puts these into the proper order now. So now our funnel starts with the sales page, moves to the order form, and this is where the customer's data will be collected. Once we have their data, we'll offer them an upsell, OTO1, and we might have OTO2 and OTO3 here as well. You can have as many OTOs in place here before the checkout as you want. So why don't we do that? Let's add one more new page, and we'll call this OTO2. Add. And we'll select this, and the flashing dot lets us know which page our selector is on. We'll go to page settings, specify a category, OTO, scroll down, save settings, go back, OTO2, choose template. We'll choose a different template for this one. And now our OTO2 page has content. So let's grab our OTO2 and we'll place that right here between checkout and OTO1. There. Okay, so now our sales page leads into the order form. We get their data. We offer them upsell 1, upsell 2, goes to checkout. And once they clear the checkout, this will take them to the payment method. And depending on how the payment method goes, it will either confirm their purchase or let them know that the transaction was unsuccessful, that their payment method failed. Okay, so now that we have our funnel structure set up, we just have to link them together. So let's start with the first page here, sales page, and let's edit the existing page. And this opens the CloudFunnels page editor in a new window. And the CloudFunnels page editor is based on the very popular Bootstrap functionality, which uses a series of blocks and containers for pretty much every type of content that you could imagine to put on a website. So every image, every block of text, every video, every button is all contained within a container and built using these various blocks. So for example, if we wanted to insert an image here, we could just click on this plus button and insert a container here beneath this text. And then within this container, we could just drag an image here from the menu and drop it into the container. And then to assign an image, we can, over here in the sidebar, we have the Content Properties pane. We also have a Style pane and an Advanced pane, but right now we're concerned with the content. So for the content of this image, we can specify a URL where the image is stored. We can choose a file from our system to upload, or we can just use the Import Media button here. And this opens up our CloudFunnels library where we've uploaded our various images, videos, documents, and audio files. And here we can just select an image file from our library and import that to our page. And we can import this image as many times as we want on this page, but it will only store the file size once. It's referring back to that same file in our media library instead of storing that file in multiple instances on our page, which would slow down your page load time. As an alternative and a shortcut to doing it this way by dragging the blocks from the menu, you could just click on this plus button here and select Image, and this will install an image directly below this container. And then the same process, just select that from Import Media, import the image we want, and there's our image imported. And because building a website is an artistic venture, it's good to try things out, but know that anything you try can be easily undone. Just click here up at the top, the Undo button, and that will undo your last move, or several last moves if you want, or redo them if you want as well. Next, let's scroll down to the Buy Now button, and let's set up our Buy Now button. Now the purpose of this button is actually to act as a link. So here in the Content pane, we can set up the link here by pasting the URL into this box. But CloudFunnels also has a very easy function at the bottom called auto linking. And this gives a little bit more functionality. So here we can choose yes to create a link out of this button. And we can choose to open it in the same tab or a new tab, but we want to keep them in the same tab because this is our funnel. We don't want the funnel to get split. And then here we need the URL. So this button is going to be a link to our order form. So to get the order form URL, first we'll go back to CloudFunnels, and here is our funnel page editor. We will select order form, and remember that this URL is for the full funnel. We got to go into page settings, and here is the page URL for the order form. So we will select this icon here to copy to clipboard, go back to our page editor, and paste that order form URL here into this field. And that's all we need for now. Let's go up here to the top and let's click this icon to save our changes. Okay, so the changes are saved. Now we could spend a lot more time customizing this page. I'm not going to do that in this video because there's too much to cover, but we have another tutorial that gets very in-depth into all of this. But just to show you some of the components that are available here in the sidebar, you can add any of these to your page. All of this stuff is really useful. There's various components, various widgets, easy access to font awesome icons, and you can even input your own custom code. For every facet of this page, you can access the Content pane, which has a lot of various functions that you can adjust for the content. The Style pane allows you to change the style in infinite variations. And there's also an Advanced pane, and depending on the component that you're working on, will show different properties for that particular component. Okay, so for now, let's go back into CloudFunnels, and we're in the order form page settings. So we'll go back to our funnel page editor. And now we should be able to take a look at the preview of our sales funnel. We'll just open up here to the main page, and that drops us to the first available page is the sales page. And you can see here's the image we added. And if we scroll down, we can click on here and it brings us into our order form. So let's go back to CloudFunnels and we'll set up our order form. So we'll go into order form and we'll edit the existing page. And it's good to note that all these templates are just that. They're templates. They're not ready to go out of the box. Every single one of these templates is going to need some level of customization to be ready for your business. So even if it's just something as simple as changing the company name at the bottom or customizing with your own specific inputs, or especially on the sales page with proper sales text and your offer, be prepared to put some time into customizing these templates. For this tutorial, because I'm trying to speed things up, I don't want to have to input all of this data, so I'm going to remove all these address blocks. Now, if I click on this, I get a little pop-up menu here where I can move it around or I can delete it. And I could delete every single one of these blocks separately. But if you'll notice, all of these address blocks are contained within a larger container. And by hovering the mouse around, I can get that address container to highlight. So I'm going to select that entire container. And now, instead of having to delete every component within this container, I'm just going to delete the entire container. With one click, all of those address fields are removed. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the inputs. Here is the first input field, and this is for first name. Let's take a look over here in the content pane, and we see that the type that is selected here is text. Now, if, for example, this was set as number, it would mean that the user would have to input a number in order for this form to accept their input. Because we've selected text, they'll have to input text here in order for the form to submit. The words that you see here in gray, first name, are placeholders, and that's indicated here. We could change this to whatever we want. For example, we could say required. And that will be automatically placed here in the input field as a placeholder. Now it's just filled out in gray, so when they click on it, this will be overwritten. The other important feature here in these input fields is to assign an input name. And that's here within the general content settings, input name. And the reason for this is we need to inform CloudFunnels what this input is supposed to be attached to. And if we select here, we can see that there's a variety of inputs available for us. First name, last name, email, phone, etc. And you can probably guess that we're going to select first name here. But before I do, I just want to go back into CloudFunnels, and what we're going to do is we're going to open up our page settings here, and I'm going to show you what this is actually connecting to. Here in these fields, we have valid input names for this project, and below that, valid input names for this page. And here we've got first name, last name, email, password, re-enter password, and remember user. If we had kept those address fields, we would want to add to these inputs, for example, address, state, address, street, etc. Okay? And then when we click save, these page inputs would be automatically added to our project inputs. Okay, so let's go back to our page editor. And now that we understand that whatever text the user inputs in this field is going to be assigned to this input, we know that we want to assign this text to their first name. And that way, CloudFunnels will know that whatever they put here is the client's first name. Let's do the same thing for last name. The type we'll select as text. We'll let them know that this is also a required field. And I should have mentioned that because this is a required field, we can specify that here under the required box, yes or no. If it was not required, we could just select no. But we definitely want to get their name, so let's mark that as yes. And let's just check the first name and make sure it was also required. Yes, it is. And for the last name, we want to assign that input to the input last name value. Okay, so let's do email now. For email, the type is set as an email. So they will have to input something here that follows an email format in order for the form to accept it. For enter your email ID, again, we'll let them know that this is required because we definitely want to get their email. And we'll just make sure that the required box is checked as yes. And for the input name, we want to assign this value to the client's email. Okay, so we could configure some optional products here so that people have the chance to just do an easy one-click offer on these. But like I said, we did cover all of this in another tutorial. So just to speed things up, I'm going to skip this for now, and we'll save our changes. And now we'll go back to CloudFunnels and exit our page settings, and our order form should be set up now. Now, once they clear the order form, they're going to be automatically sent to OTO 1. So let's take a look at the page configurations for the OTO. So we'll edit this existing page. And here for the Buy Now button, we could clarify that. Instead of saying Start Now, we could just double click on that text and we could call that Buy Now, so it's a bit more clear. And for this button, we want to set this up as a link. So down below, we'll scroll down to auto linking. And for the OTOs, we definitely want to use the auto linking because we have some special OTO links that we want to use. So for this one here, we want to create a link, yes. And we want to stay in the same tab. And because this is an OTO link, we're going to skip the URL this time. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to specify that, yes, this is an OTO link, and we'll tell CloudFunnels what type of link it is, either a product link, an exit link, or a removal link. And we'll get into these other ones momentarily, but for now, this is a product link because we're purchasing an OTO. But now we need an OTO product ID. So let's head back to CloudFunnels, and let's take a look at our products page. I'm going to open this in a new tab. And here we have a list of our various products. And again, we cover this in another tutorial, but to create a new one, we just click Create New, and we can enter our product title, ID, URL, price, currency, tax, shipping costs. We can also say if this product has any other products included in the purchase, these subproducts would be automatically added to this purchase. If instead of having automatic add-ons, we would prefer to have optional add-ons, we can click Optional Products and click these to be optionally added on. In this case, we already have our main product and OTOs set up, and the product ID here is what we're after. The main product is 0001, and OTO1 is 0002. So let's go back to our page editor, and here under OTO product ID, we'll input the product ID 0002. And then we'll input the next OTO link. So to get that link, what we'll do is we'll go back to CloudFunnels, go back to our funnel page editor, and for OTO2, we'll select the OTO2 offer and open the page settings, because that is where we're going to get the page URL for OTO2. So we'll go ahead and copy that to clipboard, go back to our page editor, paste that in as the next OTO link, and now OTO1 will feed into OTO2. And then we can go around and configure the rest of this page however we want. But for now, let's just go ahead and click Save. So now we'll go back to CloudFunnels and exit the page settings here. And OTO1 is now configured, so let's go ahead and configure OTO2. So edit the existing page. And this is a slightly different template, but it's the same idea. We'll just scroll down and find our Buy Now button and select that. And this time we'll scroll down to the auto linking, and this time for the create link, yes, we want to create a link in the same tab. And this is an OTO link, so we'll skip this. Instead, for OTO link, we'll say, yes, this is a product link. And the product ID, we can go back to CloudFunnels, check our products tab in OTO2. The product ID is 0003. So back to page editor, 0003 is the product ID for OTO2. And now we want the next OTO link, but this is the last OTO. So we could leave this blank, and CloudFunnels will understand that it will just feed into the next page in our funnel. But if you wanted to, you could select checkout, go into the page settings, and get the checkout URL here to copy that to clipboard. Then go back here and paste that checkout URL here. And particularly when you have many OTOs, this can be a best practice just to be sure that the funnel continues the way that you intend. Now, before we move on from this OTO, I want to show you one other function here. So let's scroll down, and at the bottom here somewhere, we will see a no thanks button. Just bring me to the checkout page. So we could have done this on OTO 1 as well, but we skipped it. But let's go ahead and configure this one. So we'll select the no thanks button. And over in the content pane here, we'll scroll down and we're going to create an auto link for this. And we'll say, yes, we want to create a link in the same tab. And this is considered an OTO link. Even though they're not buying the OTO, it's still an OTO link because here, when we say what type of OTO link, this is going to be the OTO exit link. So we can select that. And we don't need a product ID because they're just exiting. And because they're exiting, we don't need to specify where because CloudFunnels knows to send them to the checkout page. However, since I have the checkout page loaded here in my clipboard anyways, I might as well just paste it. And that just keeps everything tight. Okay, so let's go ahead and click our save button. Okay, and let's head back to CloudFunnels and we'll exit these page settings, and OTO2 is now set up. So let's go ahead and configure our checkout page next. So we'll edit the existing page, and this is our checkout template. And the checkout template is a very interesting template compared to all the others. It's got quite a few features that you won't see elsewhere. Here we see a lot of shortcodes being used. And we'll just go back to CloudFunnels, and I'll remind you that under the help screen here, and I'll open this in a new tab, and that's a good practice too, because there's a lot of reference material here on the help page that you'll be going back and forth to. So here you can check all the various shortcodes. So for example here, product ID, title, URL, currency, and tax will render the various product ID, title, URL, currency, and tax. And these are the shortcodes that we see being used here. But this code here, curly brackets products and curly brackets / products, that's a bit of a different shortcode, and that indicates a product loop. So if we look at that here, we'll see that here is the products / products product loop being used. And what they've done is by opening the loop with this code and closing it with this code, that creates a loop for all of these various shortcodes in between. So that means that if we used this code here without this loop here, if we just had the product ID, product title, product price, and product currency, CloudFunnels would automatically render the product ID, title, price, and currency of the first item in the customer's cart. However, because we've included all of these product shortcodes inside of a product loop that starts with products and ends with / products, CloudFunnels will automatically loop this to reproduce the product ID and title for every single product in the customer's cart. So we can see an example of this here on the help page. Here is the text, "Hi, your purchased products are," product loop opens and closes. Within the loop, we have product ID, title, and URL. When this renders, what the customer is actually going to see is, "Hi, your purchased products are product number 1 and product number 2. And for each of those, it shows the product ID, the product title, and the product URL. So this is a product loop. And this can be used also in the membership pages and various other areas, your email correspondences, your sequences, and stuff like that. So this is a really handy technique to master. Also here, we have a button called Remove Item. So let's go ahead and select that. And this needs to be configured as an OTO link. So we'll scroll to the bottom of the content pane, and under auto linking, we're going to say, yes, we want to create a link out of this. And we want it in the same tab. And this is considered an OTO link still. So for OTO link, we want to say, yes, it's an OTO link, but this, you can probably guess already, is the product removal link. And this only works on the checkout page. So let's go ahead and select the product removal link. Now for the product ID, we don't actually know what product the client wants to remove from their cart. But because this remove item button is inside the product loop, CloudFunnels will know that whichever item they click remove item for, that's the item that will be removed. So what we need to do is we need to copy this text here, product ID. Now you'll notice that when I selected this, I automatically changed the focus from remove item to this container here. So what we'll just do is we'll click on remove item again to go back to our OTO link. And for this, we'll just type that in manually. And when you're inputting these, it's a good idea to usually type these in manually instead of copy pasting, because you can see that this here is done in some sort of bold. And even on the help page, if you look at these, you'll notice that there's spacing in front of them. And all of that extra formatting, the spacing and the bold, can actually interfere with how this renders. So it's good just to go ahead and just type that out naturally and make sure that you didn't get any typos. Just double check it to make sure you got it right. But by doing it manually, you'll know that there's no erroneous codes in there for bold or extra spaces that are going to mess up your code. And for the removal link, we don't need to put a next OTO. This is an automatic function. Okay, let's scroll down. We'll just take a look at a couple of other items. Here on the checkout page, there's also some very specific shortcodes that are only used on the checkout page. And that would be your subtotal and delivery fees and taxes and things like that. We can go back to the help page and you'll see here there is actually specific shortcodes for the checkout page, and you can get all those here. Okay, so that's all the customizations we need right now. So let's go ahead and save our changes. And that's our checkout page done. So let's go back to our funnel editor, and checkout page is done. Confirmation page is just a confirmation page. There's no configuring there to be done. And cancellation page as well is just a results page. So we don't need to configure that. We could, if we wanted to, go in just to customize the message and maybe fix any typos that might be there. So here's one I spotted. So let's just go ahead and we'll just double click inside that field and fix that typo and save our changes. Okay, so back to the funnel editor here. Now we're going to take a look at the various page settings. So let's start with the sales page first, and we'll go into page settings. Here we have a variety of settings. We can activate A/B testing, and CloudFunnels will allow us to create two different templates for the same funnel, and we'll load them randomly when a user visits the page, and then analyze the impressions for both templates separately or together. So that's a handy feature to use. Display GDPR notice. This is an important one to set if you plan on marketing within the European Union, because CloudFunnels is fully GDPR compliant. Creating a page cache. This can be useful on your sales page and certain other pages, but it removes all dynamic content. So specifically for membership pages and anything else where you want personalized information to appear, you'll want to deactivate the page cache for sure. If you have integrated Zapier, you can click here to send all of your leads to Zapier, and that will automatically forward to those various integrations. And if we want to override the funnel, if instead of going to the next page in the funnel, if instead we want to redirect to a specific URL, we can activate this and then input the redirection URL here. But we're going to stick with the proper funnel order here, so we'll stick with that. And page category, we took a look at that already. Once you set up your various SMTPs here, you'll be able to select here which SMTP you want to use for the mailer. So for this one, I just have a couple of tests set up, so I'm going to use the default PHP mailer within CloudFunnels for this one. We also have here lists, and we can add any new subscribers to our various lists, and if we want to create new lists, we can create those here under the Lists tab. Same thing for membership access. When we have members sign up, we can have them automatically assigned to a membership. autoresponders, we can assign subscribers to our various autoresponders. And those are set up here in the autoresponders tab. And with integrations, if we want to have our subscribers added to any custom integrations, we can select those here. And remember, anytime you make any changes, always click Save Settings. Now, because this is a sales page, we don't really have too many features here that we need to set up just yet. So let's go back instead to order form, because this is where the data exists. This is where the user is going to be inputting their name and email. So here, this is much more important for settings. So for this one, we definitely want to select a list because we want to add this new customer to one of our lists. So let's add this customer to our Freedom Sales list. And we're going to set up a new membership funnel momentarily, so we'll just skip this one for now. And if we wanted to add this customer to any of our autoresponders, we could select that. And same thing for integrations. But you'll notice that here on the order form page setup, there's a couple of new options. Select payment methods and select product. These only exist on the order form. So here we want to select a payment method. Now, CloudFunnels does support cash on delivery as a payment method, and we have a very detailed tutorial on that, and you can reference that on the tutorials page. But basically, it involves an email confirmation first before you ship the item. But for this example, we're just going to use our PayPal sandbox, which we had already set up in payment methods. It's a little bit quicker. And select that. And then we need to select our product. So for this, we have OTO pages for our OTO 1 and OTO 2, but this order form is for our main product. So we'll go ahead and assign the order form to main product. If you had several main products, you can only choose one single product here. Okay? So if you had several main products, then what you would do is you would set up additional order forms here. Let me save our settings before we leave, and we'll go back to our funnel editor. If on your sales page you had options 1, 2, and 3 to purchase, okay, you would have to have order form 1, order form 2, and order form 3. You would have to have extra order forms here to accommodate those various purchase options. A specific order form for each product. But in this case, we just have the one main product, and then we have our OTOs. So that's all the configuration we need to make this funnel work. I think everything's connected and configured now. Let's go ahead and preview our funnel in a new tab. So we're automatically thrown here into the sales page. Here's our GDPR notice. Just accept that. Here is our Buy Now button. We'll buy now. Here is our order form. We'll go ahead and give ourselves a name here. And an email. And you'll recall that we haven't configured our special offers here, so we'll just skip that, agree to the terms, and submit. That moves us into OTO 1, so we'll just go ahead and agree to buy OTO 1. And that moves us into OTO 2. So here we could say, yes, we want OTO 2, or since we configured the No Thanks button, we could go ahead and click No Thanks. And that brings us into the checkout page. And here you can see how wonderfully our product loop is working. It automatically repeated the product ID and product title and price for each of our products. The main product we purchased on the sales page and the OTO 1 that we opted in for. But let's just decide that we changed our mind about this OTO 1, and let's just test our remove item button here within the product loop. So let's remove this item of the OTO. And it should be noted that the remove item button does not actually work for the main product. The main product has to be purchased. You cannot remove the main product. But if we select remove item for the OTO, it will be removed from our cart. So let's go to the next step. And this brings us into our payment method. In this case, we had chosen the PayPal sandbox. So I'll just input the PayPal credentials here and log in. And this opens up our PayPal. And if we twirl down the cart arrow here, We can see all the products here within our cart. If we had the OTOs, they would be shown here as well. And we'll just go ahead and check out. And that brings us to the confirmation page. Our payment was successful. So let's go back to CloudFunnels and let's just refresh our page here on the funnel editor. And you'll notice that our conversions now have updated from 0 to 1. We have a conversion on our funnel. And now we can access our sales tab. And we can see here the purchase that was just made. We can filter our sales by those that have been delivered or are pending to deliver, cash on delivery payments, or payment methods only. So let's just take a look at payment methods only that are pending. And here is our most recent sale. So this is the one that we just did. The name John Doe, although we input Joe Smith, was actually drawn from the PayPal information. If we go to our lists, we can see that our Freedom Sales subscribers count has increased to 3. And if we edit our list, we can see Joe Smith added here. So he's been added to our subscribers list. If we take a look at our sequences, we have a Freedom Sales sequence set up here. And if we just take a look at the inside of this, we can see that this sequence is attached to the Freedom Sales list. And immediately upon sign up, these subscribers will receive this email. But you'll recall that under settings, under the sales settings, that we had requested to receive a notification of sales. So a notification was sent to our admin email. So if we visit our email, we'll see the notification here. Hello, I hope you're having a great week. John Doe has purchased your product, main product, with the payment ID, URL, and client information. So that's how we make a sales funnel in CloudFunnels. Let's go one step further and let's make a membership funnel now. So we'll go back to Funnels and Sites, create new, and we'll call this one Freedom Membership. And we'll select a funnel type is a membership funnel. And we'll just accept the default path here and create the funnel. And we'll go ahead and select a registration page from the templates, and then a login page, and a membership page, and a forgot password page. And maybe for this tutorial, we'll add an extra membership page. We'll call this one Tutorials, and add that, and then select a template for our tutorials page. Oh, I forgot to assign a category, so we'll go back, and for tutorials, we will set a page category of membership. Save our settings, go back, and for tutorials now we'll choose a template, and that filters our templates down to just membership templates. So we'll go ahead and choose this one. And then we'll move our tutorials page to follow just after our membership page. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the specifics of these pages. Let's go into the page editor. The membership pages are a little bit different from the sales pages in some ways. We still have the fields here that require an input, and you can see here is the input for the username, and that will be assigned to name, and here's the placeholder. So we've seen all this before. But what we haven't seen is this unusual code here, validation error. This validation error short code is specific to the membership pages. And if we go back to CloudFunnels to the help page, we can see how the validation error renders. So here's the validation error shortcode, and this is used to display all of the various validation errors. So as an example output, it might say member already exists, or invalid email ID, etc. And to assign all of these various errors that could possibly occur in this one field, what we do is we go to the Settings tab here, and under these setup membership error texts, this is all of the possible errors that could be decoded under that one validation error shortcode. So this will display errors for insecure passwords, authentication errors for forgot passwords, error for passwords that don't match, and all of them are placed here. And you can customize these any way you want. You can type in these fields and then save your settings if you do make any changes. So the validation error should stay here, and if you're creating one from scratch, you should definitely include it. Here, I don't see any changes to this page that we need to make. So let's go back to CloudFunnels here, and let's take a look at the login page. And we'll edit this existing page and take a look at it. Here, we see the validation error again, and this would be for the login page. Let's take a look at the membership page. And we'll edit this existing page. Now here we have a listing of all of the client's various products. And because we see the product shortcodes here typed out only once, you would be correct in assuming that this is only going to show the first product in the client's cart. Only one product that the client purchased. Because normally we would use a product loop to show multiple products. And if you recall, here in the help field, you would see a product loop that looks like this, that starts with the products, curly brackets, ended with slash products in the curly brackets, with all of their products looped in between. Because we don't see that here, you might expect that this will only show one product. But in fact, this will show multiple products, and there's a reason why. Because we have displayed all of these items here in a chart format, it's not as convenient to include every cell within a product loop. So what CloudFunnels does to make this easier for you is you can select the entire chart here, and you can set this container as a CloudFunnels loop. And here we have two different kinds of loops. We can set this for product loop or members loops. Members loops would be used if they are subscribed to various different memberships. Products loops would be used if they have purchased various different products. So let's go ahead and set this as a product loop, and that automatically encloses this chart within a product loop. Okay, so that's our product loop. But if you're paying close attention, you'll notice that there's a bit of a problem with this, and it probably wouldn't offend anyone, but within our product loop, we've actually got the table headers included inside the product loop. And ideally, we want to have our table headers on top, and then only the various product items looped underneath. So we have the headers once, and then details for each product underneath. But as it is, these headers will be reproduced for every item that the customer has purchased. So one little workaround that we can use to get around that is we can just highlight this entire box with the product loop, and we can use this menu item here to clone the element. And there's other ways we could do this as well, but this is just one way. And what we'll do is for this first element, we will remove the product loop. And we'll use this for our table headers. So we'll just remove the product opening and end. And then we'll select each of these table cells here, and we'll just delete each of these table cells. So what we're going to be left with is only the table headings. There we go. Product URL, payment ID, purchased on, and action. So there's our table headings. And now here's our product loop, but we still got the table headings here. So let's go ahead and we'll delete each of those as well. There. So now we have our table headings and then our looping table for each of our products. And there's other ways we could go about doing this as well, but it's just one way you could be creative to come about the same results. Now the next thing we'll want to configure on this membership page is a link to the trainings page. So here we'll select this, and we're just going to set this up as an auto link. So we'll go ahead and say, yes, we want this to be a link, and we can open this in the same tab. That's all right. For the URL, what we'll want to do is go back to our funnel editor and select our tutorials page and go into page settings. And here is the page URL for the tutorials. So we'll go ahead and copy that to clipboard. Go back to our page editor, and here we will paste the tutorials link for this specific URL. And there is one other very interesting button here that we can configure, is the logout button. Let's take a look at this. The logout button has a special shortcode that it uses, and you'll see that here in the link field. And you can see it needs a bit of attention because the code here has been garbled. It has actually turned our curly brackets into Unicode. So let's replace that Unicode there with a curly bracket. And let's replace this Unicode with a curly bracket. And now that's proper. Now this shortcode here, logout_URL, will automatically replace this shortcode with the actual logout URL for this membership. So by placing this shortcode as the target destination for this hyperlink, this button will now take the user to the logout page. Okay, so let's go ahead and save our settings. And back to our funnel editor, exit this page setup, and let's take a look at the tutorials page just to configure this. Here's our tutorials page. So we can configure our videos on this page and the text that accompanies it, but for now, let's just configure the logout button. And so again, we see the Unicode is garbled here, so we'll just replace that with a curly bracket. And same thing with this, with the opening curly bracket. And we'll save our changes. Okay, so let's head back to our funnel editor here. And the forgot password page is also interesting. Let's just take a look at that. And here on the forgot password page, here's the validation error shortcode. We've seen that before. But there's also a very interesting sequence that takes place when you forget your password. First, you have to insert your email. And those details are included within this shortcode here that opens with insert email shortcode and ends with /insert email shortcode. This is followed by the next shortcode, which is confirmation message /confirmation message, informing the user that they sent a password to reset the link. And then that's followed by the update password shortcode /update password shortcode. And this gives the user the opportunity to enter the new password. So this is a very specific format that has to be followed for the forgot password page. On the template, it's all done for you, but if you're building it from scratch, it's good to study from the template so you can copy it exactly. No changes need to be made here, so let's just go back to the funnel. So now our membership funnel is fully configured, and someone can go to the registration page to register. That will take them to the login page where they can log in, and then they can access the membership and tutorials. But right now, as it's set up, is anyone with this URL can access our registration page and then log in. And we want to close this off to the general public. We want this only available to those who have either purchased a product from us or received an invite code. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to click on registration page and we're going to go into page settings. And CloudFunnels has a special function here for registration pages called verified registration page. And what this does is we can activate that and save our settings. And what that does is it makes it so that people can only register on the registration page if they receive an invite code. And the invite code looks like this. Here on the side, we have this icon called Copy Verified Membership Link. So if we click on this, it copies the verified membership link to our clipboard. And I'll just paste it in here so you can see. And instead of registration page, there's our base URL. I'll just remove that so you can see. It's still Freedom Membership /registration page, but then there's this invite code tacked onto the end. Now, this isn't the actual invite code. When we email this to our invitees through our email sequence or through a composed email, when they receive the email, this code is actually a short code that will render as a specific one-time use only invite code. So we need a way to deliver this to the interested clients. So what we're going to do is we'll just go back and we're going to create a new page here before the registration page. We're going to create a new page and we're going to call it opt-in, and we'll add that. And now we'll select our opt-in page and go to page settings. And then here under page categories, we can choose an opt-in page. And we'll select our SMTP mailer because we're going to be using an email for this. And we'll go ahead and select a list. And I've already created a list called membership opt-in. So we'll go ahead and select that. And we'll save our settings. Okay, now we'll go back. And for our opt-in page, we will choose a template. And we already informed CloudFunnels that this is a category opt-in. So here's all the various opt-in templates. So we'll just choose one of these. Okay, so our opt-in page has some content on it now. So what we'll do is we'll grab our opt-in page and drop it here on top of the registration page so it's the first page in our funnel. So now if anyone arrives at our funnel, they're going to arrive at the opt-in page. And because we've linked this to a list, we have a way of mailing these opt-in clients. And we'll just take a quick look at the template so we can see exactly what it is that we're collecting. And here there is a form, and this says name. So what we'll do is we'll just change this to first name. And for the input, we'll change that from name to first name. And this is required, yes. For email, your email input is email, and required, yes, and phone is optional, that's fine. And for the registration, let's change the text here to something like email my invite. Okay, great. So let's save our changes now. Okay, so let's head back to CloudFunnels. And now what we'll do is we will go to sequences. And I have, just to speed things up for this demo, I have created a new sequence called membership opt-in. And we'll go into the editor here so we can see how that works. And here is the email body. To register, click here, and I'll just delete that. And here I'll paste in what I copied from the clipboard. This is the registration page with the invite code, the invite shortcode here. And again, this is the shortcode that's going to render as a one-time use only invite code when the recipient receives it in their email. And I got hello name. I'm going to change this to first name. And what else do we have here? The title, this is for our reference. Our SMTP, we're going to use our default mailer. For lists, I want to assign this to the membership opt-in because this is the list that we linked our opt-in page to. Whoops, I think I just deselected. I did. Okay, so there, that's selected. And it has to happen during sign up so they get it right away. And the email subject is verified registration. And I don't know if I covered this earlier. I think I might have missed it, but there is also another shortcode you can use for unsubscribe. If you use curly brackets unsubscribe, curly brackets /unsubscribe, whatever text you include between these two shortcodes will appear as a hyperlink in the recipient's email that they can then click, and it will take them to the unsubscribe page. Okay, so we can make any other changes to this that we want, but that's sufficient for now. So let's go ahead and save our changes. And let's see how it works. Okay, so we'll go to Funnels. And here's our Freedom membership. So we'll just click on this. This is a shortcut. This will just take us straight to the first page of our funnel. And here's our opt-in page. So here we'll put in our first name is Joe. And email, I'll use an email that we can receive so we can check the message. And optional phone number, email my invite. Okay, that takes us to the registration page, but if I drop my screen down here a little, you'll be able to see that the URL here, this is just membership/registration page. There's no invite code here. This is missing the invite code. So if I were to try to register here, the validation error shortcode here that we saw on our template, it presents an error, unable to authorize the URL. Please try again. And that's because this URL does not have the invite code. So no matter how hard they try, they're not going to be able to register on this page because there is not an invite code. So if we check our email, we'll see here that we just received an email. Hello, Joe. That was the first name shortcode. Thank you for your interest in our products and services. To register, click here. And then here is the membership/registration page URL. But here is the unique invite code. And this is a one-time use only invite code. And here you can also see how our unsubscribe shortcode rendered. Here is a hyperlink that will take the user to the unsubscribe page. So let's go ahead and we'll click on our invite code for the registration page. And you can see now that the URL we've landed on is still the membership/registration page, but now it includes the invite code. So now when we input our registration info, we can go ahead and register. And this time, because we had an invite code, it brings us into the login page now. So we'll go ahead and log in. And that brings us into our membership area. Okay, so that's our membership funnel, and it's all fully configured and secure. So now what we want to do is we want to combine our membership funnel with our sales funnel. So to do that, we need to go to the sales funnel page. So let's go back to funnels and sites, and here is our Freedom Sales Funnel. We'll open this up now in the funnel editor. And what we want to do is anyone who places an order on our sales page, we want to add them to the membership site as well. So we'll go ahead and select order form and then open page settings. And then here we will select a membership access. So what we'll do is we'll select this membership that we created here, the Freedom Membership Registration page. We'll select this, and now anyone that places an order through our order form on our sales funnel will get automatically added also to the Freedom Membership Registration page. And we'll just be sure to save our settings when we're done. And then go back. Now, before we test this, I want to show you another sequence. So let's go to sequences, and I created this sequence in advance, and I've attached this to our Freedom Sales list. And we'll just take a look at this. And this is using several of the shortcodes that we've learned previously. And I'll just update this to first name. And here is our reference title, member details. We're using default hosting mailer. It is attached to our Freedom Sales list. It is being sent during sign up. The email subject is membership details, and we have our unsubscribe link here with the unsubscribe shortcodes. And in the email body, we've got a variety of shortcodes, and we'll just review this. And most of it will be familiar, but we got something here that we're seeing for the first time. So hello first name, and there's a familiar shortcode. We've seen that before. But now we have this members loop, and it opens with curly brackets members and closes with curly brackets /members. And now any items that we put within this members loop will be repeated for every membership that this client belongs to. So the text that we have written here says login, and then the shortcode will render the member.login URL. And this will obviously render the login URL. Then we also have the username with the username shortcode and the password with the password shortcode. And we can find all of these shortcodes by going to our help screen. And under the section template for membership details, we'll see all of these shortcodes. And here we also see how the members loop works. And here's an example. Here's the members loop with login URL, email, password, closing the members loop with /members. And then the way this will render is everything between the members loop is this content here will all be repeated for every membership they belong to. So instead of hi, your membership credentials for product title are written below, we'll see your membership credentials for test product are written below, and then it repeats the login URL, email, password for every membership. Now, in this case, I expect that our user is only going to have one membership, so we'll only see it looped once, but the technique is the same, and it's an important thing to master if you're going to be using multiple membership sites. Followed by that, we have our product details, and this is a product loop, and we've seen this before, and you're already familiar with how this works, but the product loop opens with curly brackets products and closes with curly brackets /products, And then we have this content in the middle that will be looped for every product that they purchase. Okay, so I don't know if I made any changes here, but I'll just click save to be sure. Now let's go back to our funnels and sites, and let's go to our sales membership. And now let's test the whole thing. So we'll open the URL in a new tab, and here we are on our sales page. So we'll go ahead and buy now, and here we'll put in our buyer information. And we definitely need the email. And we agree to the terms and submit. And that takes us into OTO1, so we'll go ahead and buy that. And OTO2, we'll go ahead and buy that. And that brings us to our checkout page. We don't want to remove any items for this step, so we'll just go ahead and go to checkout. And that brings us to our PayPal payment method, so we'll just put in our PayPal credentials and log in. And now here in our cart, we can see all of the products that we purchased, main product plus OTO1 and OTO2. So we'll just go down and continue with the purchase. And that brings us to the confirmation page. So now if we go to our email, we're going to see a variety of new emails that arrived. First of all, we're going to receive our buying notification as the administrator. And this just lets us know that a purchase has been made on our funnel. But I have email forwarding set up. So this is the email that is sent to our subscriber as a welcome message. And as you'll recall, we had another sequence set up as well. So this one gets sent, and then we'll go back. But here is the membership sequence that we just created. So here we have, hello, Joe. Here are your membership details. And then this is our membership loop. This will be repeated for every membership that this client belongs to. So here is their login URL and their username and their password. And then here begins our product loop. Here are your product details. So here we have 3 different products looped, and it looks like I didn't configure the URL properly. But at any rate, we have product number 1, product number 2, and product number 3. And here we have the product titles. And let's just go back and see why that URL didn't decode properly. Here's the member details, sequence, edit sequence. For the product.url, what did I do wrong? Let's go check our help page. Product.url. Product.url. Well, this all looks correct. Maybe there's a problem with the product. Maybe I didn't input a product into a URL for these products. Let's just see here. We'll edit our product. And oh, there is the problem. I have not input a URL for this product. So that's why that didn't render properly. I guess OTO 1 and 2 must be the same. Yeah, product URL. So the reason that the email couldn't decode the URL is because we didn't have a product URL coded in our actual product. So to fix that, we would add a URL here, save, and then when we send that sequence, the URL would decode as this URL for this particular product. So I won't bother resetting that for now, but at least we were able to troubleshoot that and find out what the problem was. So let's just run over here to our members area, and we'll just make sure that our member got added to our membership funnel properly. And we can see here that we've got some new members. So we'll just click on this, and we see, yes, here is our new member, Joe Harris, that we just input. And this decodes his first name, last name here, because that was what was input in the input fields. This name here was taken from the payment information. So we can actually see how they are registered on PayPal as well. But in fact, this was the name that they gave us for their registration info. And so all of our correspondence will go according to their first name and last name. And that is how you completely configure a sales funnel and a membership funnel, and then link the two into a sales membership funnel. Now there's lots more you can do with CloudFunnels too, and I encourage you to go through the various settings and explore. One feature in particular involves SSL. We get a lot of questions about. Secure websites are provided by your host. So if you are finding that your page is not loading securely, just check your installation URL. It may be because you have not included an S in the HTTPS. And if you have installed on HTTPS and your host allows secure hosting, then you can choose to force load pages with HTTPS so that if somebody accesses your link under HTTP, it will automatically redirect to HTTPS. Another important feature that must be checked all the time is to use router mode for funnels. Sometimes this gets deselected during installation. Please check to make sure that your router mode is selected as turned on. This is very important. You can also choose the various languages that you want CloudFunnels to be displayed in. It comes default selected for US English. Once you set up your SMTPs, you can choose your default hosting mailer. I'm using the built-in PHP mailer as my default right now because I only have test SMTPs set up so far. And remember, wherever you are in CloudFunnels, you can always click on the Watch Tutorials link here to take you to the CloudFunnels membership page. And if you're still stuck, you can always reach out for support, and the Technic Force team is always here to help. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Thanks very much for watching.